So, Alan, thank you for joining us at the Unlocked conference and for taking time to talk a bit about full text search, which is coming new within Valkey. I wanted to talk a little bit at a higher level to understand when, if you were a end user, when should you use Valkey Search versus using search in another tool?
Lots of platforms have search. You have to match the capabilities of the platform to the problem that you have. Valkey has always been about short latencies, high throughput. And the search that's implemented in Valkey is aligned with that. So when you've got a problem where you need to execute a query in fractions of a millisecond, you should be looking at something like Valkey to solve that problem. But it's not just the individual queries that set Valkey Search apart. It's also the time from the update to the query. So there are other high-performance in-memory platforms that will do searching, but they have very long batch-style update cycles, designed that way on purpose. They're designed around a relatively static corpus of data to search. Valkey is about the shortest latency in all of those scenarios. It really looks more like a database. You update a piece of data, it's immediately searchable. You're talking about latencies from the write to the read in microseconds.
Awesome. And can you talk a little bit about the differences if you were using Redis previously and using search within Redis, and now you're coming into Valkey Search? What things would be familiar to you? What things would be different? How much work is it to make that transition?
So one of the stated goals for the Valkey Search module is to make the transportability of people's code from the Redis search environment to Valkey pretty painless. For the core operations of ingesting data, creating indexes, executing queries, the syntax and the semantics are pretty much identical. And where you see the differences are in the administrative trivia. For example, the way configuration is done is different for that. The Valkey community, I think, is a little bit more diverse than the original Redis Search community. So the way configuration is done is different by a lot of different platforms. I know a lot of the cloud people have a completely different configuration mechanism. So that's an area where you'd expect some difference in there. Other things that pertain to under-the-hood operational details. There's a lot of information in both Valkey Search and Redis Search about what's going on under the hood. What is the state of the engine? How many of this? How many of that? This ancillary information that's not part of the core, they differ. And that's natural because the underlying architectures are different.
Yeah, that's really about understanding where things are going to break as you're doing your searches in a lot of ways, right?
It helps the developer,
it's operational.
And the operational staff see what's going on. But if you're looking at it from the perspective of what's the semantic of the operation, what is the contract of consistency and the expected execution times, the big O notation for the different queries, you're going to expect to see those things pretty much the same.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, great. Thank you again for speaking at the conference and for taking the time to walk through a little bit more about what Valkey Search is really all about.
Well, you're welcome, and I really appreciated the opportunity. I enjoyed interacting with all the people here.
Awesome. Thank you.